Okay, so now we are done with this, or I'm done with this. And I'm expecting most of you to be done with this. And then if you are not done, you can continue as I said. So PC1 should be able to ping this one. PC1 should also be able to ping this one. And the same thing should happen to PC2 and PC3. So I tested mine, but I can do it again.
We can see your screen. Your screen is not showing.
My screen is not showing? Okay. Is it showing now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So what I was saying was now PC1 can ping this and it can also ping this one, and the same thing should happen to 2 pinging both. I will test mine, and then after, if you see that all are communicating, then the topic for today, we will start that one. So on PC1, which you can also test yours. So this is my PC1. So let's ping 192.168.1.3. So that is reachable. Then we have .4 as well. That is also reachable. So what it means is that in real life, you are going to have a situation where you have all branch office being able to communicate to the data center or whatever the case may be. And then there is a protocol called ACL, or Access Control List, which is what we use to control the traffic. Meaning that, okay, there are certain situations, or for security purpose, you can say that PC1 should not be able to talk to this, or only PC2 should be able to talk to that. So what it means is you are controlling the traffic, or you are trying to filter the traffic in terms of the way they should communicate to each other. So either a host, you are preventing a host, or you are preventing the whole network. You can say the whole of this network should not be able to access this. And all this is possible not with routing. Routing doesn't give you the capability of that. You have to use another protocol called what? ACL, which will be our topic for today. So we have ACL. Let me bring a notepad, and we use that one to do the discussion about what I'm talking about. Okay, so now okay, so we have access control list, which is the topic for today. Now, we know for now why we need access control list. So we all know why we need it. It's just to deny or permit traffic when necessary in order for you to control your traffic in and out. So now, once we get that understanding, we have types of ACL. So the types of ACL that we have the standard number ACL or standard ACL. So the standard ACL, you can either have it to be standard number ACL or standard name ACL. Okay, then we also have extended ACL. So under the extended ACL, the same way, you can have it as a number ACL, or you can have it as name ACL. So if you are asking an interview, what are the 2 major types of ACL? We have standard ACL and number ACL. And with the standard, I said standard ACL and extended ACL. And with the standard ACL, you can have it to be a number ACL and a name ACL. So if it's a number ACL, you use numbers to differentiate. And for that reason, the ACL number for standard ranges from 1 up to 99. So if you have 1 to 99, which we are going to do examples of that, then you are dealing with the standard ACL. For the name, you can use any name for the standard. And then we have the extended number range or the extended access number range for standard ACL to be from 1300 to 199. So there is also an interview question that you can be asked. What is the access list number range, or what is the standard ACL number range? So that is 1 up to 999 or 1300 to what? 1999. So that is also an interview question. So I've given you two types. What is ACL is a question you will be asked. Do you have any understanding about ACL? Why do we need the ACL? What is the purpose of ACL? And then what are the two main types of ACL? We have the standard and the extended ACL. And then under the standard ACL, you can either have it a number standard ACL or a name standard ACL. So I'm sure we all understand that. And then what differentiates the two, or what differentiates between the two, is what I'm talking about. In terms of the numbers that we use to configure the standard, the normal range is 1 up to 999 for standard. And if it's extended, we have it to be 100 up to 199. And then the extended range for the number, for the ACL number under the extended ACL is also 2000 to 2699. So it's 2699. And then another significant difference between the standard and extended, with the standard you only deal with the source. What it means is that if you want to prevent a network to communicate to another network, the information you need is the source, not where they are going. So you don't think about it. The source is more important, okay? And then with the extended, you deal with both the source and the destination. Am I making sense with what I'm talking about so far? So right now, what I want you to understand now, when we talk about ACL, is why we need it, what is the purpose, types of ACL, what is the two major difference between them. You use the access list number to be the difference. Another aspect of it is you can also determine that in terms of extended ACL, you need the source. For the standard, you need the source, and for the extended, you need both. Are you all getting what I'm saying? So that is very, very key in terms of that communication. And another thing you can keep in mind is in standard ACL, is two-way communication block. So when you block something, it's two ways. The person from destination cannot communicate to you, or can also not communicate to the other side. For extended, it's one-way communication block. So that is also another unique difference between them. So that is very, very key in terms of that. So all these two protocols are used to block network. They are used to block services. But I'm talking of the difference, and I'm saying that we have the standard ACL range, which start from 1 up to 99, or you can have it 1300 to what? 1999. And then in terms of extended, the range is 100 up to 199. Then we are going to go through the configuration to understand what I mean by the numbers and where we use them. And then before you configure a standard ACL, you should always think about the source. You need a source information. Without the source information, you don't start the configuration, which means that what source do you want it to be prevented to be denied or be permitted? That is all you need. What source information? So for example, if you look at our topology, I'm not going to think about here if this is my source. So is it PC1 that you want it to be prevented from communicating to this side, or permitted from communicating to this side. That is what you need, and that is what I mean by the source. And then with the extended, you also need the source, and you need which destination should be prevented. So let's say I want PC1 not to talk to PC3. Then you need both information to be able to communicate to that. So you filter based on source address for the standard one, and the extended one you filter based on source and destination address. That is very, very important to be able to know how to configure that. So are you all good with that aspect? Okay. So yes, Yvonne. Yvonne.
It's a mistake, please.
Okay. So now that we understand this aspect, I'm going to go through the configuration, but let me see the requirement that was given to us. Then we use that one to do more explanation before we go to the configuration. Allow PC1 to access both the server and the printer. So this is acting as the source, and the other side is acting as so this is acting as a server and a printer. So we can change the image. If it's not on your, I'm changing mine. So if your image is not showing that, we can also change it by this to have it the same way as the instruction is saying. So to change it, you just do right click, you go to change symbol, and then let me change the symbol so that it will make sense with the instruction that was given to us. So wait, look for server. So let me make this to be the server. So .3 is going to be the server. Then you go here, you make it a printer. Then over here to you choose the printer. So this is your printer. So now I'm done. So now let me bring Notepad to go through this exercise for you to get the concept well.
Prof, mine didn't work.
Which one didn't work?
The symbol.
The symbol didn't work. How? So you go here,
It's
right
bringing
click.
up some error messages and all that. I don't know.
Did you right click and do change symbol?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you open the classic.
It won't let me even get to that open classic.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, it just shows some error stuff.
Okay, no problem. After this, we can do that for you. So, Leonard, when we are done, correct the topology for them. Okay. Okay.
Okay, Prof.
Okay. So now let's have this one to be the first exercise to do. Now, one of the key things, which I said, ACL is very, very important when you are working. And one thing you have to keep in mind is that make sure what you are going to define is not going to deny what is supposed to be permitted, or you are not going to permit what they want it to be denied, because there might be ACL already there. And then also ACL is a protocol we configure on only layer 3 devices. What are the layer 3 devices? Cisco routers, multi-layer switches, and let's say firewall. All your edge devices are where you place your ACL. So where you place the ACL is very important. So we don't put it on, for example, if you consider this as a topology, you will not put your ACL on this, you will not put it on this, you always put it on your edge devices. So the edge devices for remote office is going to be your routers. For your data center, you will have your firewall. Firewall will have ACL. And then your core switches to also control the internal traffic. Okay, the firewall will control what is going out and coming in. And then your core switches is also a multi-layer. So you have some ACL to control your internal traffic that you have. So that is something key for you to keep in mind. So once we get that concept, I'm going to pick the example that was given to us. We were asked to permit only PC1 to talk to both the printer and the server. How do we achieve this result? Now, the route to achieve this is you just have to type, which we are going to go through it, but I want you to understand this aspect before I configure that angle. So you go to, or let me do this, then I'll copy it from there. I think that will make sense with what I want to talk about. So now let me go to head office. So that is our source. So under the source, you say access list, and then when you bring question mark here, and these are numbers that even if you don't have it in your mind, you always see it from here. So it's showing you that this is the range to use, this is the number to use if you want to configure a standard ACL. And this is the number to use if you want to configure what? The extended one, okay? Then the expanded range for standard is this. So you can either use this one of this or you can use one of this. And then when it comes to extended range as well, this is the expanded aspect. But we normally use this in terms of configuration. So we say that access list, let's say 1. Now in ACL, you either permit or deny. So if you look at the action taken here, you are either going to deny, which means that you are going to reject certain traffic, or you are going to allow certain traffic to be forwarded. So you choose any of the aspect that you have here. We want to permit PC1. So we say permit. And then over here, you can use IP address. So over here, you can use just a single host, as you see over here, or you can use a whole network. And then, or you can say that everybody, permit everybody, which is any host from the source. But the instruction is not saying permit anybody. It's a permit single device. So you have to use that IP address that you are supposed to permit. And that one is 2.4. So this is the action configured. Now let me bring this one and let you know some of the basic rules that we have when you are dealing with ACL. So now I bring this one to the notepad. Where is my notepad? Okay, so now this is the rule that we've configured. But I want you to keep this in mind when you are working. That is why I said this is must watch video when you get a job. ACL works from top to down. Works from top to down. It's one of the rules to keep in mind. What do I mean by top to down? Meaning that if there is another ACL, let's say, let me even bring the same thing. I repeat the same thing twice. So let's have it here and change this one to be denied. And we are using the same IP address. What will happen is what you have here will not be working. The top one is what will take effect. And that is what we mean by ACL work from top to what? Down. So the rule will be checking the top rule. If no rule is affecting to the instruction that you've given, then it goes to the second one, and in that order. That is the way the packet is processed. So when router gets a packet, okay, so when you send a packet to a router, the router will look through the routing table and say, okay, this one I know where you are supposed to go. After the routing table, it will look through the ACL rules and say that, okay, so ACL, let's say this is .6. I don't see anything here. Then it will see whether it will allow it to go or not. But before I go further with that, I want you to be clear that ACL works top to down. So that is one principle you have to know anytime you are configuring what? ACL. Another, the second aspect is there is always invisible deny statement. Invisible meaning you can't see. Deny statement at the end of any ACL. So this is always going to be there, which means that if I clean this, it means that any packet will not go with the exception of what? .4, because there is an invisible statement of this. at the bottom of any ACL. You don't configure it by it's always there. It's always taking action. So this rule is always going to be there. Deny any. So what it means is that what will work over here will be .4. Any other IP will not be allowed to communicate. Are you all following what I'm saying? So if you look at this critically, only .4 will be there. This one, we don't configure it. It's an invisible deny statement at the end of any ACL rule, okay? So if you understand this principle well, I'm going to add another rule and I'll ask you this question. So let's say we have another rule like this. And this time round is 192.168.2. Let's say 10. Now, you know that based on this host, the network is 192.168.2.0/24, which gives us a host of 192.168.2.1 up to let's say 254. So we all know that. I'm sure we all know that aspect of it. So what it means is, if for this office you install another device and you assign, let's say .5, or we even have .5 here. So let me say we assign .6 over here. So we have 3 devices. We have .6, we have .4, we have .5, and pay attention to this question very well. So you have all this available at the head office. But at the head office, there is ACL rule. And the ACL rule we have is this. My question, if you know it, you can raise up your hand. Is based, if these are the only rules you have on head office, and you have .5 there, would .5 be able to communicate to the printer and the server? If you know it, you raise up your hand. And the answer should be yes or no. And if yes, why? If no, why? Yes, Walker.
No, .5 will not be able to.
Why?
Because there's an invisible access list, won't deny any.
Very good. Guys, if you are a senior network engineer, you deal with routing and ACL. These are the 2 major protocols to qualify you as a senior network engineer. If you can't resolve routing issue, you can't resolve ACL issue, then you cannot be a senior network engineer, or you cannot be what we call layer 3 engineer. So this process, all of you should try as much as possible to understand. And just as he said, there is always invisible deny statements. So these are the only devices that are supposed to communicate. Anything else should not be allowed to communicate. Are we all getting the concept very well? Okay, so I'm going to build another scenario. Let's assume, and this one I'm calling Napo. So Napo, let's assume that I have deny statement here. And then I have permit any here. Okay? Now, if I do the arrangement of the rule like this, will .5 be able to communicate or not? And if yes, why? If no, why?
.5 will not be able to communicate.
.5 will not be able to communicate. Why?
Because ACL always works from the top.
So the top is .4, so that is not an issue. Then it goes to the second one, permit any. Is 5 not going to be permitted by this rule?
Sorry, .5 will be permit. .5
Okay. I know you are a Pentecost elder, but let me try. I trust you, but let me be sure of myself whether you've gotten the concept. So let me also change the rule and add another rule. So let's say we have another deny statement below this. And let me also make this dot 5. And it says deny dot 5. Would dot 5 be allowed to communicate or not?
Dot 5 will not be allowed to communicate.
It will be denied or permitted.
Deny.
Why?
Because, just like I said, ACL always work from the top
Okay.
to the bottom, and then there's no any invisible. Actually, there's no any invisible deny statement. I think.
So which rule is denying dot 5 and why? We have 3 lines. Which of them is denying dot 5 and why? Is it the first rule, the second rule, the last rule?
The first rule.
The first rule is denying dot 5?
Yes, because ACL works from, just like you said, from the top to the bottom.
So which rule is on the top to deny dot 5? If I say dot 5, do you agree with me? Do you understand it?
Yes.
That is 192.168.2.5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So which rule is on the top denying dot 5?
Is the access list that has been configured and specifically saying that permit any, but at the same time deny dot 5. So any IP apart from dot 5 will be permitted, and nothing will be dot 5 will not be allowed.
Okay. Paps, do you agree with him or not?
I didn't really get what he said, but I'll just explain what I did.
Okay, so then let me ask you the question. Would dot 5 be permitted or denied?
I would say that dot 5 will be denied.
Why?
Because it says that access list 1 deny dot 5. And above it says that you permit any, but deny dot 5.
Okay, so you are saying dot 5 will be denied. Napoto is saying dot 5 will be denied. Do we have anybody who think dot 5 will be permitted? Fred?
No, you.
Fred? We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay, Kobe the female.
Yeah, dot 5 will be permitted
Why?
because of the same rule 1, from top to bottom. So before the packet reach the deny.
So we have 3 rules here. Okay. So hold on. We have 3 rules here. Rule 1, rule 2, rule 3. Which of them will permit dot 5?
Rule 1.
Rule 1? Rule 1 is denying dot 4. So how does it permit dot 5?
The top of dot 5 is permit any.
No, there is so it's rule number 2. You have to say rule number 2. This is what is permitting dot 5. Rule number 1 is not permitting dot 5. Rule number 1 is denying dot 4. But
No, when I said rule number 1, I meant ACL works from top to bottom.
oh, you were referring to these ones.
Yes.
Okay. So I was referring to this one. 1, 2, 3. So yes. So yes is working based on this rule, which means that it works top to down. So the top to down, it will take the first instruction. You said I should deny dot 4, but this is dot 5. So I have nothing to do with you. So it will not accept, it will not work with this information. Then it goes to the second one because it's working from top to down. Then you say permit any. Okay, if I should permit any, 5 is part of the any. There is no exemption. So this is why dot 5 will be permitted. That is the reason why, guys, I'm saying that when you are working, you are going to have ACL rules already configured. And if you are going to deny something, don't deny what is supposed to be permitted, or don't permit what is supposed to be denied. I don't know if you understand this phrase very well. What it means is that because of where this one is, this will not be denied. It will still be permitted. So if you go and put this one at the middle, then dot 5 will not be achieved, or the rule that you have over here will not be achieved, or you will not have it to be processed. So how do you correct this? It means that this has to be removed and then bring it at the bottom of it. Then in this situation, the packet will say, okay, it's dot 5, I should deny, so this is not dot 5. It goes to the second one, dot 5 is here, so then the packet will take this instruction. So it will not go to the third rule because the second one allow it to process what it's looking for. Are you all getting the concept? If you don't understand, raise up your hand, because my next question, you should not get it wrong. Why shouldn't you get it wrong? I'm saying that when we deal with ACL, there are two things you have to keep in mind. The rules are going to process from the top to down. So it means that if the rule that you want it to be achieved, the packet will say, or for example, let me get a topology here. So let's say this is a router, this is your PC, and then this is PC6. It's using dot 6. This dot 6 will get to this router. Then the routing is there. So the routing say, okay, you can go, but before, hold on, let me check my ACL table as well. So the ACL, you are dot 6. It's okay. This rule doesn't apply to you, so it seems to be safe. This rule doesn't apply to you, so it's going from top to what? Down. So it seems to be safe. Then this one applied to you to be permitted. So now I can allow you to go. Anybody with any questions so far? So let me lower all the hands here and be sure that what you have there are questions. So if you have questions, you can raise it, because I don't want anybody I'll call to get it wrong, because it doesn't make sense with what I've said. ACL works from top to down, and then there is always invisible deny statement at the bottom of it at any time. So if you have any question, let me know to explain before I ask you the next question. And the next question, I'm going to start with Paps. I'll start with Napo. So prepare from Napo, then I'll go to Ama. Then from there, it's long time ahead from Labadi. So I have 4 people, so prepare. So though you've not raised up your hand, so you can ask questions now. Yes, Amy?
Yeah, my hand's been up for a while, but I'm having a hard time understanding this concept. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you saying yeah? So I want to know.
Yeah, because
I want to know
yeah, 'cause-
where the hard time is. Then you say yeah. You have to give
I'm
me
having a hard
more
time
information.
understanding
So which part don't you understand? So which part?
So- I guess just the steps that you're asking. So like deny, permit any. I know that we're trying to have PC1 communicate with PC3 and PC4, right?
Even that one, you forget about that. Forget about it, because that is not. I'm doing more examples, so it's not going directly with that one. But for example, if I'm to go with the first one, the rule that we have. So let me forget this one, and then the rule that we have is to permit PC4, right? PC1 alone. So this will be the statement.
When you use the word permit, do you mean to have
Allow.
communication?
Yes,
I need
allow
the-
communication. Yes, allow.
Allow communication. Okay.
Yes, permit means allow communication. Then the deny means that reject the communication. Reject that packet to communicate to the other side. So
Reject.
yes, to reach it. Yes. So now
Okay.
that instruction that we have there, this will be okay without doing anything else. Why? Because the packet will get to dot 4 and say, oh, you are allowed to go. So it will not reject that packet. It will then allow it to communicate to the other side. But then when this device get to this, there is invisible statement here. So dot 5 will be rejected. Do you agree to that? Even though you've not configured it. Because there is invisible deny statement, there is invisible deny statement of any. Let me even put it of any. Invisible deny statement of any, which I said that this statement will be there, but we don't configure. So access list 1 deny any. There is always this statement. So what it means is that when the packet gets to this side, it's saying that permit.4 but deny any. So all these devices are concerned about is .4. Anything else, it will drop the packet. It will reject it from communicating to this side. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So when you say, I just need to understand it with the term. So when you say any other network, any other IP address?
Yes. Any means any IP address or any network, apart from the one that you've stated.
Okay.
Okay. So you are good?
Yes. I need to get it with the terms in order
For
for me to
sure.
understand it. Thank you.
Okay. David.
Yeah, bro. I just wanted to just to get a little clarification. So, can you go back to the notepad?
Okay.
Yeah, please. So the first time you told us the rule, you was like, it works from top to bottom. So let's say you have access list 1 permit 192.168.2.4, and right beneath it, you have access list 1 deny 192.168.2.4. The same thing, but just deny.
Oh, just deny? Okay.
Yeah, the same thing at the top, but just deny. Yeah.
Okay.
So you said because it works from top to bottom, then the permit is going to permit
Yes.
.4.
Yes.
Because it's the top.
Very good.
Okay, so then if you have the 3 rules you had before, where after that you had permit any, and then
So let's say this is deny, and let's use this to be, let's say 6, and now you have another rule to be like this. And that means permits any.
Yeah, so then it means for .4.6 they will always be denied, but anything after that will be accepted.
Accepted, exactly. So .7, .5, .8, .9, .10, .11, they are all going to be allowed to communicate. The only packet that will be rejected will be .4 and .6. Anything else will be permitted. And even if you have a different network, which is 192.168. Let's say .1, okay, .1 is on the other side. But let's say that you have another network here, which is 192.168.0. So maybe there is a PC which is 192.168.0.4. That device will be allowed to communicate because it's not part of the deny devices. Do you get it?
Yes, I do.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Yvonne.
Yes, Prof. So, please, if you have deny here, maybe this permit any is before the second IP address here, and there's deny. Do you still have to allow this one to go through?
No, I'm not clear with. So, are you making reference to what I have here, or you are giving a different?
No, I'm making reference to what you have there.
Okay.
Since you are saying it works from top to down, and let's say you have the permit should come, so please put the permit here before the last.
I should remove the permit here?
Yeah, and put it here under the first one.
Under this one?
Yes.
Okay.
They say permit any, even though the deny is here, but it will still permit the .6, right?
Yes, because the second rule is what the system will pick, not the third one.
Okay.
Yes, not the third one.
Okay.
So let's say you have this configuration there, and then you didn't know where to put this and you come and put it here, you are going to permit what has been denied already. And that is a big deal in real life because there are security rules. That is why I'm saying that in your configuration, you should try as much as possible, especially when you are working, that you don't deny what has been permitted or you don't permit what has been denied. This is big deal in real life. Are you getting the flow? Because this, if I put this one here, we are good to go. If I put it here, I'm not denying anything which is already there. But the same statement, if I move it from here and it comes to be the second one, now I'm permitting what has been denied, which you should avoid. And that is the reason why I'm showing you that the only way you can avoid that is when you understand these two principles. That your statement is going to work from top to down. And even if there is no denying statement, whatever you put there, there will be a denying statement at the bottom of it. Does it make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes. So you don't always have to look at the word deny there, but you look at the instruction from the top coming
No,
down.
there you have to look at that. This is your action rule. So the action rule is very important,
No, I'm
but you have
talking
to.
about the second one.
Yes. So, but you have to make sure it's working top to down. That is what you have to think of. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Obi.
Yes, Prof. So I want to be sure that I get this thing clear. So ACL is just like a bouncer in the club, right? So if you want to, it doesn't matter the invitation you have.
Yes.
The bouncer can decide to not let you go in based on what he feels.
Yes, that is ACL is more like a robot. Say robot. They don't rationalize. the way you set it up is the way it's going to operate. So when your boss tell you, Obi, don't work like a robot, meaning that sometimes you also have to analyze the situation and know that yes, my boss said that, but at this time I can't do that. ACL doesn't work like that. The rules is what he's going to use. So even if you are coming from anywhere, you will be denied. So yes, you are right.
And the second question, right? You said that the ACLs are mostly done on layer 3 devices.
Yes.
So which one is more preferable to put the ACL on? Is it the firewall or the routers, or can you put ACL on both at the same time?
No, you can't put the same rule on both devices. Okay, that is why I'm saying that. Okay, so let's say you have so we all have to think about the office we are going to manage. So we have a remote office and we have a data center. So if it's a remote office, the router is your edge device. So anything going in and out, your inbound and your outbound traffic is going to be, the rule is going to be on the router. Okay, but when you come to the data center, you have the core switch. These core switches are all connecting to the firewall in that situation. And then you have your access switches, which are all connecting here. So you have this one here and this one here. You have PCs here. Now, if this PC want to go to this outside, then the ACL here is what will be applicable. But if this, let's say you are using MPLS means that it's a trusted traffic, then you don't need a firewall because you are not going outside. You are going within a trusted, like intranet. So the core rule is what will be applied. That is why I said that the ACL can be done on the core device or on the firewall device, but it depends on what you are preventing. Do you get the situation of what I'm saying? And what we use ACL for, we use it to prevent network or use it to prevent services. I'll go through the services with you. So you can use ACL for people not to be able to telnet, for people not to be able to have access to an email, for people not to be able to have access to an application. ACL can allow you to do that. And in that situation, you can put it on the firewall or you can put it on the core, depending on where your source is and where your destination is. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay,
It
very
does.
good. Very good. George.
Yeah, Prof. I think I forgot the first question. I had to, but the second question was, I don't remember who said something about if you, if for instance you put deny above permit any, and maybe it's not exactly what the company wants, it can cause a problem. Now my question is there a duration to say if you the way it's typed over there, is there a duration at which the computer, the system or the network checks before it's say transmitted, or if there's a better
No,
thing?
the moment you
Because-
hit enter, the effect is gone. So I will show you how to
So then
edit.
if
I'll show you how to remove issues too, if you are lucky. But sometimes before you see that you are going to remove, then everybody is aware of the issue. And then they will know that George is the one who did that. And if you are not lucky, then you have to look for the exiting door. You just leave the laptop on your table and say, where is the exiting door? Then you just run away and learn from it. But the moment you hit enter, you know everything we've been doing on the command line. If you don't hit enter, the issue will not be, the command will not be taking effect. But the moment you hit enter, then it will take effect. It's only Juniper, which I will show you. Juniper has a way where you can hit enter, but the command will not be committed, which means that it will not be working. So they have that delay. So that is possible. So I can do configuration, hit enter, and then I want that command to start working maybe in the midnight. I'll wait for the midnight and I commit the command. So there is another command you can configure, then it will take effect. But when it comes to Cisco, we don't have that. So that is the more reason why you have to build all your configuration on a notepad, scrutinize it, get a third eye to be sure of that before you hit enter. But the moment you hit enter, it's gone.
Okay, so my question after that is, if it happens right away, let's say you have deny, the way you have it over here, the first one, deny 192.168.2.4, and then you have
Permit any.
then let's put permit any under deny the .6.
Hey, now you are tossing me on. Somebody say go middle. Somebody say go down. So you want it to be where? Down or top?
Yeah, under. Yeah.
Okay, down. Okay. Now I'm going to answer all your questions. When I finish and you
Now
get
you
my
said-
own wrong. What
Say
again?
we do from top to bottom, right?
Yes.
So if you press enter, it will deny .4, it will deny .6, and it will permit everything,
Yes. Any other
including
IP?
.4.6, correct?
No. How can it?
Oh,
this is already
okay.
denied, so it's not going. So it depends on
think
what
I
you
was
are
thinking
doing.
of overriding.
So let's say the packet you are bringing is .4. The packet you are bringing to communicate to the other location is .4. When it gets to the router, this rule will drop the packet. So you see that people will be saying, we can't access the server, we can't access this location, what. And then you come here, you see that there is an ACL rule which is preventing it. So the question you ask them is, have you ever been able to access that before? And they say no. So if no, why do you want to access it now? So work with how you used to work. Do you get the flow of what I'm saying? But maybe somebody also like, which I'm suspecting you, George, you did some change in the night, and now you deny what what was supposed to be permitted. So this person was not supposed to be denied, but now you have denied, so he can't do anything. Then you are in trouble. So that could be the issue. Okay.
Okay, sorry, last question. So if you deny .4, is there a way you can permit .4 after denying .4?
No,
Or
but then
once
why will you
permit
configure this one and you want to permit it again?
Maybe
This engineer.
typo. Maybe there's a typo.
You've already
Maybe there's a
denied.
typo.
If there is a typo, then remove it. You have to remove it. You have to remove
Okay.
the configuration. So that is not what you need. But I'm going to show you how to remove it, because the removing aspect, if you don't take care, you remove all the existing configuration. And that one, you have to be very close to the exiting door because your problem will be more. Do you get it? So I will show you after you. I want you to get the concept right. Then I will show you how to edit in real life so that you don't go and remove all the configuration. Because number ACL has a situation where the no command is not good. You have to know how to apply it. Because the moment you say no to this, like if these are the rules, just as you said, and you notice that this is the wrong one, we know in network, the moment you add no to this one, this should be removed. Is that not the case? But with number ACL, everything will be removed, including what you have not put there. So I'll show you how to do it so that you don't go and make that mistake. That is why I said ACL are one of the videos I recommend for you to watch when you get a job. Watch this one before you start working because you have to get this aspect we are talking about very well. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, Paps.
Yeah, I lost most of the thoughts about the question, but I'm trying to get it out again. So, I see we have deny, and permit.
Yes.
Permit any. It means that it will permit .5, correct?
Yes, it will permit everything with the exception of what has been denied. That is what this means.
So the invisible deny statement, it means it will not matter in this case.
No, because you have permit any here. So what it means is that if you take this thing off, what do you think will happen if I take this thing off?
Okay, then the invisible deny statement will come.
So what will happen at this location?
It will deny, no, invisible denies it. It will deny all the other IPs.
So nothing will work anymore. If you put just one deny statement, even just one, if you put just one deny statement here, nothing in this location will work anymore. Everything will not work. Whether .5, .6, .7, .8 or whatever, it will not work. Do you get the flow?
Yeah.
Okay. Kobe.
Yeah, Prof.
Yes.
Is it possible to include the whole network to permit the whole network? And do you have the option of permit any or 192.168.2.0?
Yes, you can permit. So I said you can permit a host or a network or any. Any means that all network. Or you can permit just a specific network. For example, if we decide to do this way, we have, let's say, 2.0. Now, if you are permitting a network, you need to add the wildcard marks. So in ACL, permitting network, you add the wildcard marks, not the subnet marks. So you have to allow this. So this is how you configure to permit the whole network. Deny the whole network. But when you add permit any, it means that if a device has an IP address of 192.168.3.1, this or 3.4, this PC will communicate because it's not part of the network that has been denied. Do you get it? So you can deny a host, you can deny a network, in that aspect, but bringing a permit statement means that anything, if you have another PC which is 192.168.5. Let's say 5, this will also communicate because it's not part of the network that has been denied. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
What if you were like asked to permit .3, .4 to .6 in a range? Is it possible to include a range?
No, you don't permit in a range format. You permit. So let's say you have 3.5, and you have another one to be 192.168.3. Let's say 6. You have to permit them one by one. You don't permit them in a range. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So
but
so you
my
either
other
permit.
question, answer,
Say
to
that.
answer my other question, I wanted to ask you, what if you added no to it, to the top, if if um if you made a mistake and you add no to the top because of top to bottom, will it be will, will it be denied?
If we say no, if we say no,
Yeah. If you put in the wrong
config, yes. If you put a wrong config, yes. That is what I said. I will show you how to do it. But the moment you go and do no to this, then you are close to the exiting door. Because ACR is very major issue. So I will show you how to do it.
from top to bottom. So let's
Yes,
say you have
but the no aspect has nothing to do with top to bottom. The no aspect will wipe everything off. So I will show you how to edit that, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Jenny.
Okay, Prof. So can you please undo so that we can have the rules that were there for my question, please? The rules
Okay,
that we
so
had, the three
you
rules
want
that we had.
the initial one?
Yes, the deny, permit, any, and then the deny.
Okay,
three of
so this was .4. Then we had another one which was .6. So .6.
Okay. And then we said that we have an invisible deny any at the end of all these rules, right?
Yes.
So my first question is, would that invisible any, I mean, with this, what we have now, with this 2.4 and then 2.6, we know that with the deny any, it would also deny any other host on this 168.2. whatever, so .7.5.3, any other one will be denied. But would it also affect other networks?
No, it will not be denied. You have permit any. So
No,
once
no,
you
that
have.
one was, I'm talking about the invisible deny any that we have.
So which rule are you talking about? Are we using these three rules now, or you are talking of a different
We have
one?
these three there, okay?
Okay,
And then you said that after all of this, there's still an invisible
Deny
any,
statement.
or-
Yes. Yes.
So let's assume that is the fourth rule.
Yes. So let's assume that
So after we have-
there is something like this. Let me bring it there. So
Okay.
this is invisible,
Okay.
but it's there, which is denying.
Yeah. So in this context, after the first .2.4 has been denied, 2.6 has been denied, permitting any would mean .3, .7, any other one on
Yes.
that network is still allowed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then the rule, which is the invisible rule, which is deny any, would then be activated. And my question is,
No,
with that one at the end of it,
so this, there is always this, but the moment you bring this, nothing will be denied again. The moment you do this,
Anymore.
yes,
So-
nothing will be denied anymore. But it still has this.
Okay.
It's just a rule which is there
Sure.
for every ACL.
yeah, so what I'm trying to say is, I'm assuming that the permit any was not brought. This permit any was not brought. So the last one we have is the invisible deny any. Would it affect both other networks as well as the
Like
host?
if you don't have this,
Yes.
yes, if
Would
you
the
don't
deny
have this,
any which is
nothing,
invisible-
nothing will work again. If you have this situation,
Okay,
nothing will
including
work again.
networks and hosts.
Yes, everything, nothing else will work. You've blocked everything.
Okay.
It's a dead location.
Okay. So, and then my other question is, because this is a very critical security issue, I'm sure before you do it, an upper command would be given as to who asked you to do this, like you once said in one of your
Yes,
situations.
yes. So
you proved with an email what
Yes.
the person had asked you to do. Right?
Okay, so normally with ACL changes, you go through a management meetings. We call it management change request meeting. We'll go, I'll discuss, I'll show you ticketing system. So it's a project. When you are doing ACL, it's a project. We term it as a project. So you go through there and you explain to them why you want to permit something or why you want to deny something. Who instructed you to do that? What is the purpose? So that person who instructed you will also be there. This is not something you get a phone call, then you go and configure. No. or you even see a ticket and you go and configure. No, there should be a change supporting that, and that person will come and explain why he wants it to be permitted or denied.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Kobe. Oh, Kobe is old hand, right? Kobe and Yvonne, is it old or new?
Prof, please. Mine is a new one.
Okay. Then and because you've asked two questions, right after you finish with your your second question, I have one question for you. Okay?
No problem.
Okay, good.
So, let's say if you have deny any here on top of it, this one, and you have permit.
So this is not a configuration. We don't configure that. So that
No,
one.
what I'm saying is,
Uh-huh.
if you have the permit any here, the one
Okay,
that was
okay, yeah, permit,
under
yeah.
there. No, deny any. This one, deny any. If it's here, the first line.
They deny any or permit any.
No, deny any.
If it's at where?
Here, the first line.
First
Before
line
this
over
one.
here.
Yeah, okay.
No, that one. So what I mean is, no engineer should configure this. This we don't configure.
No, sir,
So it can't be at the
no,
top. You mean at the top,
No,
right?
I'm not done. So
Okay, sorry.
Please let me finish.
Okay, I hear you. then let me understand what you are saying.
In case you have the any deny any on top, and this line is permit. The second line, the third line is
So
also
that is
permit.
where I want to get the understanding from. You said
Is
in
it
case
going
you
to
have.
affect-
So hold on. I have to flow with what you want to say. You said in case you have deny statement at the top. Is that not
At
what
the
you
top.
said? And I'm saying
Yes.
that we cannot configure deny any. It cannot be at the top. It's always at the bottom. So don't that
Okay.
question should not come in. Do you get it? So if you want to phrase it in a different way, that is fine. But we don't have deny any as a configuration. We don't have it. And you should not configure it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Okay.
So now it seems
Yes.
like you don't have a question. So now let me ask you a question. So let's assume that this is the rule. We have, let me make here permit. So we have permit for deny 6. Then these are the two rules that you have. And then you have another device which has this IP address. Which is let's say .10. Would this device be allowed to communicate to the server and the printer?
Yes,
Yes, and why?
because it's not the deny here is only denying the .6, but it's not affecting the .10 because it's not saying deny any, so it will work.
Yvonne, my sweet engineer, take your time. Listen, what I'm saying is you have permit.4, deny.6. If you have .10, which of the rules is permitting .10 and which of them is denying .10? You are saying it will be allowed, but which rule will allow .10? Which of them? Is it the first one? Is it the second one? Or is it which one?
So I'm saying that that
ACL, you can't scrutinize the configuration. You are the one who has been
So
scrutinizing my configuration.
the permit will permit the .10.
But the permit is for .4. So how does it permit .10? The permit is for .4. So how can it permit .10? Do you get the idea of what I'm saying? Huh?
Yes.
The battle is real, eh?
No, sir. Because my reason is because there is no deny any.
But who told you
So
there is no deny? There is invisible deny any, which I've already said. Remember this statement. There is invisible statement of any. So there is deny any. So he's saying that permit dot 4, deny dot 6, but there is invisible that denies everything. So if you want this to be communicate, what ACL can you configure? Tell me. If you want it to be denied because of the invisible. But if you want to permit dot 10, what do you have to do?
you do permit any.
Hey, permit any, you have to do, you only want 10. So you just do
You permit on only 10.
only
so
10. Yes.
Dot 2, 10.
Yes, yes. That is it. George, before now he's getting there, is sinking well, Yvonne? Okay, good.
So
Okay. George, so now if you have the 11, will it be permitted or denied?
With the same thing you have over here.
Yes, these are the existing rule, and you have a
No,
PC
not
which is the 11. They are saying that will it be allowed to communicate or not?
No, it will be denied.
So how do you allow the 11 to communicate as a network engineer? You are the senior. So they said they want the 11 to communicate. What will you be doing?
So you configure access list 1 permit 192.168.2.11.
Access list 1 permit okay, so access list 1 permit so we have so permit 192.168.2.11. So this will be coming to you as you are working. You have this as a project. They will come, we want you to permit this, we want you to permit this. You just come in and you just do that. And this will be your whole day work. And you are there as a senior network engineer just doing this statement. Is this difficult? Guys, being a senior network engineer is the coolest aspect of the whole process if you know what you are doing. Because
sorry. Please, my question.
You are not done with the question. Engineer Yvonne. Engineer, the day you get a job, Yvonne.
She doesn't have a question, so now she has remembered her question.
The day you get a job, Yvonne, you get a tag. So the tag, they will write your name, they will write your position. I want you to take that picture for me and bring it there. Bring it to me. I'll hang it somewhere, okay? And I'll say, this is my engineer. Even when he's not done with the question, he will bring you back.
So it permit means you are permitting only the last number. That's the .4.
Yes. So
Denying you are
that is the
denying-
host. This is the host IP. So it means that you are permitting
You are
the
only
11.
denying the host IP. Okay.
Yes.
And so even though we don't have the deny any, it's a default one there.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you want to allow the rest of the host, you configure it and permit it, right?
Yes.
And if you are supposed to deny, you configure and deny.
No, for this statement, you don't need to put in any deny statement because everything has already been denied. So you only add the statement that you want to permit. On this environment, with the exception of .10, .11, .4, anything else will be rejected. So you don't configure deny statement again. You only be permitting. So in real life, you are going to either have environments where you only permit, as you have over here, or you are going to have a situation like this. So this is denied, and this is denied, and this is also going to be a deny statement, and you are also going to have this to be a deny statement, and then you have this rule at the end of it. So access list access list 1 because what I've done would deny everything. So now you have to bring in access list 1 and you say permit any. So anytime you have a deny statement, you have to add permit any. If not, you've just made the place dead. Everything will not be working anymore. Okay? So what it means is in such environment, you are always going to deny. So they will tell you deny .12, but make sure .12 that you want to deny, which you've been asked to deny, is not going to be below this, but it's going to be, let's say this is 12. It shouldn't be this, because then it will still be allowed to communicate. So if you want to deny .12, you should have it on top as another rule. So that means that you get request to be denying, and then the other one you get request to be permitting. Are you all getting the flow? Okay, good. Okay, so it seems you all get the understanding. So we are now going to do the configuration.
Prof, I have a question.
Yes, George.
You see how we type in access list 1. You know how like OSPF, we have like an AS number. I just want to be sure with the access list, do they give you like a specific number or is always 1?
No, so if you are working and they are using 1, this is the one you have to use, because there is another thing about ACL, which is something that all of you should also know in terms of working as well. When you create ACL on a router or whatever, it's only one ACL per interface, per protocol, per direction. That is something you have to keep in mind. So when we say only one ACL per interface, what we've configured here, we are going to apply it on an interface. So you cannot create another ACL, meaning that if I do access list 2, then I'm creating another ACL. I'm not creating, it's not going to, this is another, this rule is going to work differently from this. So it's another protocol you are applying. So it should be one ACL per interface. So you will not have this situation. So anytime you want to configure, you have to use the access list 1. Then you either permit or deny if you want to use these instructions that you have. So we say that in ACL, it's always one ACL per interface, per protocol, per direction. So when we talk of per protocol, it means that you want to deny or whatever you want. You have to use only this one, and this one is going to be applied for an interface. And if you create access list 2, it will not be working. You've created it, but it will not be working because you can't apply the same ACL to the same interface unless you have another interface you want to use it for. Do you get the idea of that? Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So when you get a job, all this will be there for you. All you have to do is you deny or you permit. So if in this situation you get request to deny, we want you to deny this. We want you to deny this. Maybe they are not supposed to have access to certain services, certain network, certain applications, certain server. So all you have to do is to put it as what? Deny statement, which is what we are going to do now. So now I come back to my configuration. I said permit.4. So we are going to, when we are done, we are going to test that. And it means that .5 should not be able to communicate because there is an invisible what? Deny statement there. So when you configure this, you also have to apply it on an interface. So remember, if you do the ACL, you have to apply it on an interface that you want the ACL to work. If not, at this point, there is no ACL. So now if I come here and I go to my PCs and I want to ping .4, which is over there, it's going to be pinging in terms of PC1, which is the main objective. Now let's choose PC2, which is this one. Now, if that rule is working, it means that this should not be able to communicate to the other side. So let me bring that one as well. So it means that this should not be able to talk to 1.4. But it's working. Why is it working? Because anytime you do ACL, you have to apply it to an interface. That is very, very important. Okay? So you can either apply it on inbound interface or outbound interface. What is your inbound? So you have your in, you have your out. Okay? But this is your inbound traffic, those coming from here. This is your outbound traffic. But if you can apply it as in on the interface, meaning that the traffic, the moment they enter this interface, it should be working. So where you put your ACL is very, very important. Now, if you go and put your ACL here, the packet has to go through all this and come here. It's not, so we always apply it on the source so that you don't overburden the device, so that the rule will be applied as early as what possible. So now I'm going to apply it on the inside interface. You can also apply it on the outside. By applying it on an outside means that it will go inside and come outside. So that is why we mostly use it on the inside. So now let's apply it on the inside interface in terms of the ACL. So let me bring my configuration back. So now we have it to be the router. The router is the one we are configuring, and we are doing it on the head office. I'm done with this. So now we created a sub interface. One key thing, let me do this and I'll show you before. So we have a physical interface, which is U10. Now you can apply it here, which is access group. And then you use the ACL number that you configured, which is 1. It should be matching. And because this is the inward, you have to say in. Now this rule is not going to work. And I'm going to show you why. So when I come here, this is not supposed to communicate. It should be, that is PC2. PC2 should not be able to communicate because there is invisible deny statement. But it's communicating because I apply it on the wrong interface. So now I have to remove this. I have to say no to this. And then you apply it on the interface that you assign the IP address on, which is 0.10, which was our sub interface. So when you do show IP interface brief, let's exclude unassigned. You can see that the IP was applied here. So this is the interface you have to use. So once you are on this interface, then now you can apply this one. So now we apply this one, and now the effects will come in. So now let's go to our PC1. PC1, we want it to communicate. So let's test that one. So PC1 is communicating. PC2, there is invisible deny statement. So it should prevent this device from communicating. And you can see that it's saying communication administratively what? Prohibited. Now, if you have it to be, how do you call it? If you have it to be like a real life device, you are going to have it to be timed out. You are not going to have it to be prohibited. It's going to be timing out. But because this is learning purpose, it's saying that you have manually or administratively prevented this device to communicate to that side. So you don't see that situation here, but you see it here because there is invisible deny statement. The moment you apply this rule, there is invisible deny statement. So if you want .5 to communicate, then you need to apply another rule, which means that you say that this PC, which is .5, I also want you to communicate. So the invisible deny statement will no more affect that device. So now we come here, and then if I apply it here, which is PC2, so this is my PC2. Now what has been prevented now is communicating. Are you all getting the flow of what I'm doing? So this is all about ACL, and this is about standard ACL. The rule works from top to down. You have to keep that in mind. In addition of working from top to down, there is also invisible statement. at the end of everything. So you keep that in mind. And then as somebody asked the question, let's assume you make a mistake. So this is our configuration. This is what we've configured, okay? So let's say include access list. Okay, so show access list. Do show access list. So we have two statements already there. This is what we've configured, is the standard one that we've configured. Okay, so we want to see how we configure this. So this is access list 1. Why is it not showing? So show run access lists include so include access lists. Okay, so this is what you've configured, and this is what I want you to pay attention to. Now, let's assume that you made a mistake on .5. Then you came here to do this. You said no to this. Oh no, I'm not supposed to permit .5. It's rather .6. So let me remove it quick. Then you come and remove this. Now look at this. If you come here and verify the same command again, everything is gone. If you do show access list, everything is gone. So if you can watch very carefully, I did this initially. We had 2 rows over there. Then when I remove only .5, I didn't include .4. I only removed .5. Now everything is gone. I don't see anything when I apply the same verification as you have here. And even when I do show access list, I still don't see anything anymore because I didn't remove it well. So number ACL, please pay attention how you remove it. If I want to remove this one, this is the way I'm going to do it. So I'm going to put this on Notepad, and on Notepad, I'm going to show you to see 2 things. So let me bring this one here. And then I paste this one. So first of all, let's say I want to remove the 5. So I'll bring this one. So the 5 is the one I want to remove. So let's say I bring it here. I say no to this. And I paste this. But before I paste it, let me configure it again before I paste it. I'm sure you are following the storyline. So let me bring it back and configure the head office. Let me configure what was there already. Then we will edit it. And I want you to see the best way to edit. So conf T, I paste this one. So now I have it here. So once I have this one here, now if I do show access list, I'm going to see the 2. So I have the 2 is a standard access list, but I don't need the .5. So I copy what is there in terms of configuration. You put it on your Notepad, which is the way you go about it anytime you want to edit number ACL. But let's see what happens. Now if you put a no on the top and you copy this one, and you bring it, and I'm taking my time to show you this because you should not do this in real life. You should know how to edit. Now, if I do this, I want only one. So let's see if only one is what was removed. So now you see that one is what is gone. Do you all get the point I'm making? But when I did only this one without repeating what I want to configure, I don't see anything else. Do you guys get the flow? So if you want to remove something, copy everything that you have there and then just say no to this, and you'll be able to handle when it comes to editing. That is very, very important. Okay, let me also bring it back. Let me add the 5 also to it. And then let's go back to the notepad. And then under the notepad, let me bring the no over here at the bottom of it. So, okay, I need this one. The two are there. So now I copy this one. And then where is the head office? And I paste this one. Okay, so before I even paste this one, let me configure the .5. Okay, the .5 is already configured, but let me repeat it so that you all see it. So now if I do show access list, I'm going to see the two there. Okay, now if I paste it this way, and now I do show access list, all is gone now. Are you all seeing that? So what this should tell you is, even though I copied both, but because I said no at the bottom, it's going to remove everything. So what are the things not to do? You can't do this one as single. You can't do it if you want to edit. Don't ever do this as a single item. If you have like 10 rules there, everything will be gone. Don't remove it as a single item. And also, if you copy all the configuration and you want to remove one item, that item should not be at the bottom of it. It should always be at the top of it. Don't say I didn't tell you this, okay? If you do this in real life and you don't get a good environment, you might not survive with this. So keep in mind, how we edit number ACL is what I've shown you now. Okay, so any question so far on what I'm talking about? Yes, Obi. Now, is to filter remote, not internal. If you want to filter internal, you use VLAN ACL. Do you get the flow?
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, when you permit, you said something about inbound and outbound. So what if we're putting the ACL like we did on the sub interface E110?
If you put it on S31,
so S31 is going to be the outbound.
Okay, so yes, so this if you consider the device now, this one, okay, so let me explain to you. We have what we call, you hear it in real life. We have what we call inbound traffic and outbound traffic. Now, traffic that is going out is what we call outbound. Traffic that is coming in is what we call inbound. It's coming inside your network. Now, when you are applying the rule, you can apply it on the outbound or you can apply it on the inbound process in terms of how you want it to be working. But in our situation, this is our inside interface and outside interface. It's different from inbound traffic and outbound traffic. Do you get it? This is our inside interface. This is our outside interface. Does that make sense to you? Or the way you are watching me, it shows that
No, so
it's not
like you flip it.
Yeah. So that is why I'm explaining it that way. So sometimes you get confusing because it's inbound. We think it to be like it's what is coming inside that we classify it inbound traffic. What is going out is what we classify as outbound traffic. By your interface, this is your inside interface, this is your outside interface. So when you use it on the inside interface, you have to use in. When I use it on the outside interface, I have to use out. So let's try that one. Let me remove that one and try it with you to appreciate what I'm talking about. So let's say I want to use the outside interface. So I come to the router. This one was the inside interface. It was, we apply it on this. So let me remove it. So do show run. Okay, do show run interface G10.10. So it's over here. So I'll say no to this. But before no, I have to be in that interface. So U1 0.10. Then I say no to this. And now I can apply it on S3 too. And in that situation, I'll do IP access group. Then you say out, you don't say in. So IP interface S3 2. So IP access group. Then you bring your group number, which is 1. Then you say out instead of saying. So when you bring question mark, you see in and out. So as you can see over here, if I'm using in, it means that my inbound packet, the one which is coming from my inside going out, okay? And if I use out, it's also going to be for outbound packets. So now I'm going to use it to be out in this direction. And as I use it to be out, which is my outside interface, I come back to this. And this one PC, this PC is supposed to communicate. And then you have it to be the other side, which is this one, which is PC2, which should not be communicating. So hold on. This is, so let's see the rule that we have. So we have router 1. This is my router 1. This is branch office. So this is head office. So now let me check if the rule is still there. So show access list. Because now everything is communicating. So 1 has been removed. So now let me configure what I want. So I want this one. So that is the reason why everything is pinging. So now let's come back to this side. So this is supposed to ping, but then on this side it's not supposed to ping. And that is preventing it to communicate. Okay. So you can either use it for your outside interface or you can use it for your inside interface. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay.
So when you set an ACL on the outbound interface, just as we did now, we pinged from PC1 to PC3. So that means there's no ACL to the traffic returning back to.
So it's two. Yes.
Because
Standard is two-way block.
so whatever you permit out is also permitted in.
Yes, whatever you permit in is permitted out. Exactly. Yes. Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, that's for standard ACL, right?
Yes, we are going to go to extended. So, if you are all good with this one, extended, but after Evelyn, then we go to. Oh, you have another question?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yes, Evelyn.
Thanks.
Yes, Prof. What's the difference between the group and the list? Because I see sometimes
Okay.
you put,
Yes.
and where do we put
List. Very good. Okay. Now the access group is only when you are applying it on an interface. Okay. And the access list is when you are defining the rule, whether permit or deny. That is where you use the access list. Then I said that when you configure this, without this, the packet will be going. So for example, we have this there. If you go and remove this one, the packet will still communicate. So when you apply ACL, you have to apply it on an interface. And it can be your inside interface or your outside interface. Do you get it? And the interface is where you use access group. You don't use access list. So that is a good observation. And all of you should observe that. You cannot do IP access list 1 and you say in or out. It should be access group. Okay. So now let's go to the last aspect, which is the extended one. Let's do another example on the extended one. But before we do the extended one, let me do name standard ACL. So we can have name standard ACL as well. So let me do the name standard ACL. Name standard ACL means that you are going to refer it into names and you are not going to use what? Numbers. That is the only difference between the name ACL as compared to what? The standard ACL, the number ACL. So if you look at the configuration we did before, we were using what? Number ACL. So let me remove what we have here. So let me go back and remove what we have here. So this is number. So as I said, we have a standard ACL, extended ACL. But the standard ACL, you can have it as a number ACL or name ACL. What we've done is the number ACL. So now let me remove the number. So I'm going to remove this. So I say no to this. So we don't have any ACL now. So if I do this, there is no ACL. Then I also have to remove it from this interface that we have. We have it on S32. So we have to remove it from here. So now let me remove it also from here. So you do show run. Do show run interface S32. So we also have to say no to this because this is also for number. So we are going to remove this, but I have to be in the interface S32, and then I'm removing everything here. So there is no more ACL here. So now we are going to do the name ACL. How do we do that? With the number, you start with access list. Then you say access list 1 and whatever. With the name, you start with IP. So you keep that in mind. You bring IP access list, and then you define what method you want to use. Is it standard or extended? We want to use standard. So we bring the standard. And over here, you can see that it tells you to give a word. Okay. Now we want it to be in a word for access list name. So what we normally, the name is always strategic. So if I want to use inbound or I want to use the inside interface in terms of the inbound packet, I can say inbound inside in. And that will be my name for the ACL. So this is going to be applied on the inside packet. Okay, so I'm going to have the rule, and over here, you can choose to do permits without giving numbers, or you can give sequence of numbers and they will flow in terms of how the ACL will be. So I can say that my first rule is 10 permits, and I can give another rule to be, let's say, 20 permits. Then if I want to apply another rule that I want it to be in between this, then I can choose 15. Because remember, where you place the rule is very significant. That is the reason why it's always good to use a sequence number in terms of how you want the top to down to operate. Okay? So how you want the top to down to operate is very good to use a sequence number. And it's always good to have an even number. So 10, 20, 30 or whatever. And this gives you leverage to place any rule in between when you need it, in terms of making sure that you don't deny what has been permitted or you don't permit what has been denied already. So this one we can use 10 and we say permits, and this one, what are we permitting? 192.168.2.4. This was the requirement, so we are permitting this. So now we are done with the ACL. We have to now apply it on an interface. So we say ye 10.10, and now because this is not a number ACL, you are going to do IP access group, and instead of using a number, you use the same name that you gave here. So this is the name that we gave, so you make reference to that, and then you want to use it for in because we use the inside interface. And now that we have this configured, we can now come and test our packet. So you can pay attention very well and you can practice it on your own. Now .4 is pinging, which is to be expected. What should not ping because of the invisible statement is this one, and it's still not communicating, which is exactly what we want. So we can either use name standard name ACL or standard number ACL. Now the name is very useful because look at it this way. If I do another rule, and please pay attention. If I do, let me go into this mode and add another rule. So I have to be in this mode first, and then you always have to be in this mode before you apply another rule. And then I said number 20 because I want the 10 to work before the 20 or the second rule I'm applying. I want it to be the second item. Then I'm going to have a 192.168.2.5. Okay. Now, if I want to remove this, all I need to say is no 20, and it's gone. Let me bring it back and show you. So let's say do show access list. You have 2 there. If I don't want one of them, I'll say no 10, and that is gone. And then if I bring do show access list, you see that it's left with what? 20. So with the naming ACL, it's more friendly in terms of editing as compared to the number ACL. So most company use name ACL as against number ACL because you can easily edit when you have issues relating to that. So that is something you have to be mindful of when it comes to what? Number ACL and name ACL in terms of standard. Yes, Yvonne.
No break today.
I'm going to do the last one, then we close because we are almost done. So I don't want us to have break. Your waste, eh? The way give me just 10 minutes and we'll close. Just 10 minutes, we'll close. Okay? Yeah, I don't want to have you back because of 10 minutes. So just 10 minutes, then we close. So,
Sir, but today we haven't heard Godfred and Obed's voice. Oh.
Godfred and
In the
Obed.
10 minutes, if you can ask that. I want to hear Obed and then Godfred's voice. So please ask them.
Oh, Godfred has spoken already.
No, he hasn't spoken today.
Okay, let me give you break. Let me give you break. It's always good to have break. So let me give you 20-minute break. So you deserve that. So even if it's 10 minutes to close, you still deserve that. So let's go for 20-minute break. Let's come back at 6:05.
So, Prof,
Yes.
just 3 hours. Engineer 3 hours. Your waste, you are crying off your waste.
Oh no, that one you can't say that though. Everybody is different, my brother. So it's acceptable. So let's come back. Maybe some people want break and they are not saying it. But you know, Yvonne is my TA. So as for Yvonne, she will say it. So let's come back at 6:15. Okay, and continue.
I'm just pulling her legs.
Okay.
Thank you, Prof. Oh my God.